Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. We're broadcasting from the ACC Kickoff in Charlotte. A couple of interviews for you and the like, our observations here in North Carolina. Not good, guys. Not good, at least as it pertains to the commissioner. Tom and I talk about this in a later segment, but I every year I get excited when we come here. I've missed the last couple for a variety of reasons. Got, 18 years under the belt prior to that. I've been doing it for 25 years total on the air. But
it's like you've been a Golden Chief booster for over 18 years.
Oh, you slipped in a sax piece to start the show. Holy moly, this guy. No, so here's the thing. I in the beginning, it's so funny. Our own Matt Lacero is doing a great job for us these days. It's his first ever ACC kickoff, right? And we were eating breakfast this morning, and I was like, oh, buddy. Oh, young buck, I remember when I was excited like you are, all beady-eyed and happy to be here like it's a big to-do. Someday you'll get jaded like me and realize we're in a garbage conference that is dying very quickly.
That's pretty much verbatim what you said. Yeah.
But I didn't mean to strip him of his enthusiasm, even if that's what it did. We've watched it. We've watched it all. I realize now I'm old. I've seen it all. The rise and fall of the ACC, and certainly, unfortunately, for the ACC, it's the rise of the SEC, which was not always prominent when I was coming here, and the continued dominance, at least financially, of the Big Ten as well.
It's not about getting to a number, though.
Oh, Tom, Of course not. You're ignoring the successes.
That's right.
If all you do is focus on a number,
do you want to get to a number,
goal.
or do you want to succeed? All right. What are you more interested in, a number or success?
Both. If somebody says to you, look, Jeff, I'll buy your house. You're like, oh, okay, well, it's for sale. I'm glad you're going to buy it. They go, yep, I'm willing to buy the house. But I know that it was evaluated and the market suggests that it's worth, I'm going to make a random number up, guys. This is not what my house is worth. Okay. $520,000. I'm going to give you $100,000. Well, that's not going to work. That's going to put us in a financial hole. That's not going to work. Yeah. Are you focused on a number, or do you want to sell the house?
Right, or success.
The success is selling the house. You've desired to sell your house. I'm the man that's going to buy it. You've sold your house. Why are we so caught up in the numbers? Yeah, man, I need the numbers to work here. This has to work. So it's kind of silly, and, you're going to hear that a lot. But you guys already know that. Yeah. Not going to dwell on it. I will say this. Later this hour, and we're going to react to it, you're going to hear an interview that I did with Miami head coach Mario Cristobal. And I hate this. I hate that I have to start the show like this. I liked him. Damn it. I'm here to tell you now I like the man. Yeah. Now, he's either really good at this here game, this give and take, this conversational give and take that we do every year, or he's genuinely a nice dude. I don't know if he's going to make it or not, but either way,
well,
I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. I will say this in all seriousness. You're going to like the conversation. It's a good one. I mean, it's a good give and take.
Yes, it is. I think maybe he looked at the sign, and maybe you want to wave it for the people here on the camera. But I think he looked at the sign. He saw the Tallahassee, and he said, oop, I'm going to have to be real smooth on this one. I'm going to have to win him over with charm. I'm going to have to break out that Mario Cristobal charm that I never use in other settings, because I got to tell you, man, being here last year and watching him go through that first ACC kickoff.
You weren't impressed?
Well, I mean, it was like a drill sergeant is forced to smile and you know.
He's been humbled, Tom. They went 5 and 7. He's been humbled. They went 5 and 7 a year ago and got beat 45-3 by their arch rival at home.
The dais for his first ACC kickoff as a head coach, talking about discipline and acting like he's a strict teacher who takes over for Mrs. Landingham, who got sick halfway through the first semester.
Poor Miss Landingham.
Yeah, exactly. And he's taking over for. He's like, this stops today. Like that was the energy.
You guys run today. He's like, she's here, not anymore.
Today you'll hear how he goes, but he was much more personable. He was a human being, so that was cool. That was very cool.
Being humbled will do that. I mean, it will do that. I think too. He feels that they're more equipped to engage in the battle. They've had a successful offseason in the transfer portal. They have had a success in recruiting. I do feel like he's got better weapons with which to go to battle, if we're going to use that analogy. And that will make you feel a little bit better about having a conversation with somebody in enemy territory, because you know you've got something that you feel comfortable with and that you're confident in. Bottom line is there are a lot of coaches, whether they coach for our rivals or not, that you enjoy having conversations with. I'm just wondering at the end of the day, because selfishly it's always about me, is this going to be my guy now when we come to the ACC kickoff to replace the great one? Will he be will we have pastries with Mario Cristobal?
No, I will not buy any. No, I bought him for Adazio. I will not buy a pastry for Mario Cristobal.
You think he would have a glass of red wine with us, Cristobal?
He would.
You could tell.
100% he would.
A good red.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that way he's like Adazio. Yeah. Those two have probably shared red wine.
Well, and the similarity, he said what's up and asked about my Mets fandom in the beginning too. Yeah. And then he dropped a fact on us about Gone Girl, which I found weird.
Ben Affleck would not wear a Yankees hat
because he's a Red Sox fan.
Die hard. And he instead wore a Mets cap.
Yeah.
That was a nice nugget for him to give you.
It was strange. I was like, yeah, well, we all suffer together. And then he chuckled, and then you guys began the interview. But
we did. Anyhow, you're going to hear it in a minute, and you're going to like it. You're going to say, golly, damn it, I kind of like that dude. I hope he gets fired.
That's right. Then he could be the offensive line coach when Alex Atkins takes a job for $10 million somewhere else.
I don't think Mario would come to Florida State. I don't think.
No,
I think he's serious about his cane.
He is very.
Yeah, there's some great stories about that out there. And maybe he did something to a guy that we all loathe in the coaching community that we would have celebrated in that moment, to be honest with you. Yeah. It's funny to kind of report back from Charlotte that the one revelation. Now, tomorrow's a busy day. We got a lot of players and coaches, and we'll figure out something else to talk about. But it's weird to me that besides the commissioner still being impotent, I am blown away by the fact that I had a really candid, fun conversation with him.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. So if you check out, obviously you're watching this on Warchant TV, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. But today you're getting already hit by now 1 o'clock with a bunch of Florida State stuff because we had Mike Norvell and the players available to us at 9:15 as local media.
Yes, we did.
Then we get them again. They're on the dais at 1:30 for the TV part of the interview. In between those two interviews, one-on-ones with you, Wake Up Warchant has Mike Norvell and Jared Verse, I want to say. We get Mike Norvell and Jordan Travis here on the JCS side.
We do.
But there's going to be an hour and a half of Mike Norvell footage today on Wednesday. So we're saving the one-on-one, the best one-on-one, for tomorrow's show on Thursday with Mike Norvell. The channel's got you covered with Florida State stuff. We're painting the grander picture and talking about Florida State's place in the picture. It's just weird. I know that you've been traveling so much. It never ends.
Bleary-eyed, don't know where I am.
You asked on Tuesday, today as we're recording this. What day is it? Is it Tuesday?
I didn't even know what day it was.
So this is running Wednesday, even though we're recording it on Tuesday. We just got too much stuff. There's so much stuff going on. So
it's the kind of fun and games we have around here. We just flood the marketplace with interesting content, that involves your beloved Noles and the ACC, and that's a good thing. I do enjoy doing it. And I do like to see the wonder in the air on Matt's face, as I said, as he gets excited about these breakouts tomorrow and all the stuff that we're going to be doing.
When you brought that back up, though, I got sad because this doesn't look the same, man. I've been to this building. But, we did back at the old place of employment. We were here probably 3-4 times.
Yeah.
When it moved from Pinehurst to here. I've now been here 3 years in a row after a little break. Sorry, man. For Matt, I'm sorry for him. He
doesn't know any better.
Yeah, he doesn't know any better.
That's the good news. He doesn't know any better at all. Now, Ira and I were talking about this, too, a moment ago. I mean, it is kind of one of those things where you're like, legitimately, guys, this thing is shrinking. This is the importance and the need to
Zoom
be
next
here. The need to be here, the need to see all of this. It doesn't seem like something that is of the utmost importance to as many networks as it once was, whether that be radio or TV. It seems like a lot of people are like, you know what? We're good. We're not gonna send you to Charlotte this year. We're good. They wouldn't do that for the SEC.
No, they wouldn't. No. Recall you were here the first year that they moved to the Westin in Charlotte. You come up the escalator, you're like, oh my God, they're not messing around.
I was here when the ACC started, Tom. I remember the brand new conference that was the ACC and covering.
We were at least here for the pinnacle of the ACC, we were the
13, 14, 15.
Right, and it was the 15 ACC championship after the 14 bowl season and all that kind of stuff.
All that stuff,
You got Clemson, Florida State in the playoff, but Clemson beats Oklahoma. Georgia Tech beats Mississippi State in the Orange Bowl. Like, that was their time.
It was a big to-do.
And they put their arms around
There was dominance.
Yes.
They didn't talk about lacrosse in those days.
And this was a big-ass event at that point.
They weren't talking about soccer in those days.
No.
They weren't talking about signing with the CW in those days, buddy.
They were talking about a TV network that we were going to get.
Yep. Yeah.
I almost said a little motion. Yeah, sorry about that.
We got the network. The network. It does exist, Tom. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. We are live from the ACC Kickoff in Charlotte, North Carolina, and some of it that you're watching is taped live from the, you get it. More in a moment. Mario Cristobal coming up, right?
That's right next.
That's right next. Stay tuned for that.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured, and you've got to be at work and rehab, all without a car. I'm Jimmy Fasig at Fasig Brooks. We hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777, and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
Whidden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
Hey Tallahassee, it's Sarah with Seminole Auto Glass. You're probably driving right now, which means you're surrounded by glass. Did you know that each piece is made differently? Your windshield is 2 sheets of glass with a thin plastic in between. This allows it to take an impact without going all the way through. Side and back glasses are typically tempered. This strengthening process is what allows them to be shattered in the event of emergency. Regardless of the glass or how it breaks, we can help. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass, proudly serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. Better call Seminole.
Discover seasonal sensations full of passion and flavor at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo. This summer, escape to your own Peruvian paradise in the capital city and experience handcrafted, colorful, refreshing cocktails like the Chilcano de Maracuyá, made with authentic pisco, mixed with lime juice, passion fruit, a splash of ginger ale, and bitters. Or enjoy a classic pisco sour made from grapes produced in the nutrient-rich lands of Peru. At Café de Martín and El Bar, everything is handmade from fresh ingredients con amor y pasión, with love and passion. From the moment you open the doors, you're immersed in the culture and transported to Tallahassee's only upscale Peruvian culinary experience, full of surprises with every dish and every drink. It's Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open Monday through Saturday for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Online at cafedemartin.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. A one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service.
Welcome back, Jeff Cameron Show, as we broadcast live from the ACC Kickoff here in Charlotte. Mario Cristobal, head coach, University of Miami, kind enough to join us now. Coach, thanks for being here. And we'll start with something simple. I always wonder what the answer is to this question when it comes to turnovers. So you guys were 0-6 when you turned it over multiple times. I know you know that. 5-1 when you didn't. Seems overly simplistic. What do you do to prevent turnovers? Because you're really good when you don't turn the ball over, really bad when you do. Is it one of those things where year to year it's kind of random? You get a little unlucky every time the ball's in the ground. It happens to go to the other team. Other years you fall on it, you survive, you move on. Or is it something you teach, something that you say, we can prevent this, we can be better at this?
You can improve it. Can you prevent them altogether? That's difficult, but can you improve it? Absolutely. And you improve it with technique and with fundamentals, and you improve it by playing guys that don't turn it over. I mean, let's call it what it is, right? It's one of the most magical things. The bench somehow sends transmissions up in the spine to the brain saying don't turn the ball over. So
right,
that works sometimes too.
What you can't prevent, though, oftentimes is injury, and you guys also had a ton of injuries last year. Obviously, you're hoping to stay healthier this year. Every coach knows that and wants that. When you're going through these frustrations of a transition, it's your first year, you're trying to establish something. What do you say to your team when the success isn't happening the way that you'd like it to be?
The truth, the flat out truth, exactly where we are and what we need to do. And you stay with it, and you certainly point out the things that can be improved. And some things, if you can't overcome it because personnel-wise, no matter, it's just not there yet, then you just got to find a way to do something different to try to alleviate that. So you don't want guys to get discouraged or whatnot. We knew, obviously, what the current situation was on the roster, and that's okay. You eat what you eat, the good and the bad, and then you address it as best you can through recruiting, talent acquisition, and then you also have to do a better job coaching, and you have to just find ways to adapt, because at the end, everybody has holes, right? Some more massive than others. I mentioned earlier, we did. We had to get to work in recruiting and identifying the areas that this needs massive overhaul, this needs tweaking, this needs the speed, this one needs more size, this one needs more power. And that's through the use of the portal too now, which I had never, ever done before. But, again, different job. Every job this one is very different than anything I've ever had a chance to do. And it's been an excellent portal offseason and a top 5 recruiting class and a top 10 portal class. And then just even more importantly, the retainment of the core of guys that you want, because the beauty of the portal, especially in your first 18 months of coaching, if a guy doesn't fit, there's no reason to be unprofessional or whatnot, just make the standards clear. And if it doesn't fit, let's find that person a good place to go so they can have an opportunity to further their education, their playing career, and then never hold that personally, but it is a great opportunity to transform your roster.
We've covered it. I've had the benefit of covering Mike Norvell, who's utilized the transfer portal very well at Florida State. And I've asked him his philosophy on that and I'll ask you too, because I'm always interested in this. And you guys have had a great offseason with talent acquisition, as you just said. I am curious, and I've always wondered this, if you bring in a bunch of guys to fill spots that are necessary to be filled, how does that affect the locker room? Because you got other guys that have been working hard and been there that bought in, and then they see a guy get – I know coaches are always recruiting over players, and it's your job to keep your job and to play well. But the portal's a different level because you're bringing in guys. There are NIL deals and the like, and envy can seep into the locker room. I've wondered how coaches deal with that, with the idea of bringing in a guy and then he gets a big NIL deal maybe, and this other guy's on the roster been working his butt off, and he sees this as, hey, look, they recruited over me and they gave this guy money and I don't have any, or whatever it might be.
Well, I think two things. You got to explain to your players, you wanted the real life benefits of NIL. Well, now deal with the real life, with the reality that some people might be better than you.
Right.
And some people might actually make more than you. Welcome to, you want the benefits, but you
NFL.
don't want the things that come with it, right?
Right.
That's just the nature of the beast. I do think that players want to play with great players. So overall, if you're going to access the portal, make sure that you're bringing in guys that have a great mindset, that are willing to buy into a program, and that are there to compete, to contribute. There's no reason to go to the portal if someone's going to have to develop and wait in line as much. You really access, you want guys to play right away. But I think you just stay honest and go get the right ones. I always, I beat my head all summer going, man, what is the formula here? Is it 30 high school, 10 portal? Is it 25, 15? And I came to the the revelation, right?
Yeah.
About 2 a.m. Just get the right people, right? They might be overseas. They might be in Canada. They might be in junior college. They might be on the basketball team and come over.
Right.
Get the right people. I studied Miami rosters the best years and how different they were. Some were South Florida laden, some were nationally just. I mean, that 2001 team had 7 of their 11 starters on offense were from way far away. So get the right ones. Just do your homework to make sure that they are the right ones, knowing that, you know what, at the end, that's what cures everything. Competition with good people that can really play.
Elevates everybody. But you do have a philosophy, and you being a former offensive lineman, you want to run the ball. I mean, I know you want to run the ball, although more efficient offenses these days seem to spread everybody out and throw it. When you look at the portal, do you look at it under the umbrella of, well, this is what I want to do? So, yeah, I got to get good players, but they got to fit a certain mode. They got to be tough.
I want to score points, and I would love to balance, but there is no balance. The best balance now is being in balance, so people got to overplay on one side, then you hit them with the other. So we're not relegated to like a certain like one type of thing. We feel like we have a coordinator in place offensively that really understands how to move the football and score points, and that understands matchup. I would say how to scheme up and how to really implement the timing and precision of and the spacing of the passing game, blended with a very downhill approach to the run game. That's a tough blend to stop, and it worked out well in the spring, and we've had a good fall, a good summer so far, so we expect a good fall camp.
Final thing here, you did make some changes. Some left on their own, some you had leave. How difficult is that? I know that's not what you were looking to do. Circumstances change. You make changes. As a coach, when you decide to shake up your coaching staff, whether it be somebody departs on their own or you let them go, what do you look at? What are you trying to do there? I know you just said for players, you say just get good players. Well, there's a lot of good coaches out there. How do you decide which ones you want to bring in?
But just like for the players, you want to get good human beings as players and as coaches, you know. And I have no desire to make a departure look a certain way. So many departures come across as entering the portal or left for this job when you've really had a meeting to say, hey, it's time to go. This is the best route for you to prevent any questions. So I don't care.
Right.
Let's get a guy. If a guy doesn't make it here, have some type of decency, and unless he's completely obliterated the place,
right,
find him a spot somewhere where he can go and do something, right? I mean, come on, man. Some people have families. Some people are young men that don't know any better, and eventually they'll get it right. So, but that being said, it's critically important to get good human beings that really want to be there, because what we do is hard. And when stuff gets harder and harder and harder, you better want to be there. Okay. And it's at all levels. It's not just the players, it's the coaches, it's the support staff, it's every damn volunteer in the building now.
Right.
You know, that's what we like. We scour and really regimentize the interview process to get somebody in the building, because you can't BS your way through the hard work. So it's too hard. It's too many hours, you know, and we have littered the place with really, really good people and hard work and sons of guns now. I mean, we're super fired up. We just need to get to work and not worry about anything else. Just get to work.
Mario Cristobal, head coach, Miami, kind enough to join us on the Jeff Cameron Show. Be well, sir. Good luck.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, take care. So that was Mario Cristobal, head coach at the University of Miami, kind enough to sit down with us. It's funny because we also had Tyler Van Dyke.
Yep.
And he is a serious kid. I got no problems with Tyler. That
was a good interview in its own right.
He played along. It was short, but he played along with us. It was kind of fun to talk with him. Listen, there's no getting around. You know, you heard me bring it up. I didn't want to get specific, but, you know, they fired Josh Gaddis. So you replace your offense coordinator.
He said as much.
It was funny.
Like,
he was like,
they say that they took another opportunity, but let's be honest.
Yeah. When you have a meeting with him and tell him it's time to move on. So he did that. Kevin Steele left to go to Alabama. Yeah, Frank Ponce was the quarterback's coach, and he's gone. Linebacker coach was Charlie Strong. He's gone. So they made a lot of changes, and I think obviously Miami fans will expect to see a big step forward, which is a distinct possibility.
You just got to be honest, guys. I blew it with 1.0. 1.0 did not work. All right, so we're going to blow that up. Sorry about that. Let's go with 2.0.
It's fascinating to listen to, the idea that, and I think that Mike Norvell would agree with this. You got to get good people on your staff, man, because you're working really, really long hours.
He and Mike are eye to eye on that one.
Totally eye to eye on that. And I got asked a question today. I was on Chuck Oliver's show and their setup over here. And Chuck said, what is it about Mike Norvell's assistants where they all get elevated? They all do so well. They all go get other jobs.
Yep.
And Chuck wanted to know. It was a legitimate question. He said, Jeff, Mike's not been coaching that long. How is it that he's developed this tree of coaches now? I said, listen, true story. From day one, Mike reiterated that he believes that you have to celebrate the successes of your assistant coaches.
Yep.
You have to want that to happen. You need to shine a light on it. Give credit where credit's due.
Push them out front.
Push them out front. Give them the respect they deserve for a job well done. Now, you know it goes both ways. If you're not working hard and you're not doing a good job, you're going to be told to have a good day. But it goes both ways. So he's always believed it. But at his core, the reason for that, and I know this because I've asked him, is that was the opportunity given to him when he was at Arizona State. Mm-hmm. And so he's at Arizona State, and he quickly rises through the ranks. He's studying film. He's way down here on the coaching staff. He keeps getting opportunities because guys are leaving, and he gets moved up. And then all of a sudden, there's this opportunity. A coach gets dismissed or took another job, and he gets asked, do you want to call plays? And he's very young.
Yep.
And he's always appreciated that happened, that opportunity was given to him. And so I think it's pretty interesting. From that point forward, he vowed to do the same. And that was my answer to Chuck. And that is true.
Yeah, well, and he says you prepare for that as well. So you find in your spare time, because what does that mean? You got to do your primary job. You can't do the job you want while you got the job that needs to get done in front of you.
Right.
That's the way to get fired really quick.
Yeah.
But that means that you do the job that is required of you. It takes a lot of effort because you're green. And then in your spare time, you decide, all right, how would I prepare for this job that I want, the next one? So that means you're putting in double the work, but you're ready for the chance when it comes. And he was ready for the opportunity.
Well, and think about the story he told us regarding Alex Atkins. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
This guy's impressive every time we coach against him. And I want him when I get the chance. To be sure, he's doing that even now.
Oh, yeah.
He's looking around at other guys, other staffs where he walks off the field. That's actually a fun conversation, is that you talk to a coach and say, hey, have you ever been in the middle of a game and you're watching something happen and your team's unable to do this thing that you thought you were going to be able to do, and the adjustment on the fly from the other coach has you scratching your head a little bit, and then after the game, let's say you come out on top and you go, well, that son of a bitch, that guy there, I need to give him a call. He knows what he's doing. That was difficult.
If I see him at the convention, I'm going to buy him a beer.
Yeah, I'll be like, listen here, Steve
right,
Wilson, you know a thing or two about football.
You put it on, man.
So I think that's interesting. Anyhow, I circle back because I brought it up originally because of what Mario Cristobal said. You got to bring in good people. I don't know that he felt like he necessarily did that.
Again, you're going to hear
Van Dyke. They basically tell you it was a mess last year.
Stay tuned for the Van Dyke interview because it's more blunt. Mario he dances around it a little bit better, but basically it's like coloring around all the edges of the picture until you see the shape of a picture, and you're like, oh,
yeah. They basically told you they had quitters who didn't want to win. That's when things got tough.
Between both staff and roster. I mean, and that's what we saw on the field. Don't get me wrong. It's easy to see it 45-3 when they refuse to stop the same play over and over again.
It was beautiful.
So he's got to wear that the way that Norvell had to wear the Louisville game.
Wear the one down there. We wore one down there.
He's on his couch with COVID.
An ass beating over and over again.
There's nothing I can do here. It's beyond my control.
Yeah, the Louisville one's where he had the faraway look.
That's correct.
That's one of my favorite moments with him where I was so impressed because this is something that we aspire to.
He could have lost his mind.
Yeah, but this is something we aspire to as individuals. You've got to get to a level of maturity. He's revealed some immaturity in the past.
Yeah.
But he's also revealed moments of clarity and newfound maturity. That was one of those moments where you realize, like, Tom, I say this all the time. When you have kids, man, those moments come fast and furious. There's this, I'm telling you to do this, it's not happening, things have fallen through, and you're having this discussion. It's very frustrating. And at some point, because you're on the cusp of snapping, and you know that does nobody any good. Nobody in that household becomes better because you lose it. Your kid's not going to listen all of a sudden while you're snapping. He becomes scared. Your wife is mad at you because you've snapped. Now, nobody's going to win here. So it's in that moment that you have to stand up and go, this is a situation that I am having a hard time with. I'm going to go outside.
Yeah.
I'm going to maybe walk around the neighborhood, hun. I'll see you in a few minutes. Let me just gather my thoughts here. But each time you do it, you build up, sort of this intestinal fortitude or
Is the corner
callous,
pocket open?
That's
always open. What am I talking about? The corner pocket's open.
So there are these things, right? And I love that. I love that Mike has had the opportunity to do that. And so it's just fun. That's where you compare and contrast your coach, here at Florida State and what he's trying to do.
They both believe in the work. They do. I think that's genuine. Sometimes coaches give you a line and you're like, oh, so that's what you're going with this year? You pick this as your motto for this year.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea being it's too hard to fake. The job is too hard to fake your way through it. And also, if you're a good person at your core, chances are when adversity hits, you're going to do the right thing. I think that's what he's talking about.
Well, it's I think to simplify that in a weird way, it's like if you ingrain good habits on the golf course with your golf swing, meaning you've done it so many times, and then the pressure hits or you're about to shoot a number and it makes you nervous, you have to fall back on the things that the things that you've worked on and just trust that it's going to work because you've done it a gazillion times.
Right.
And he's saying the same thing. Like you'll revert to whatever your habits are. And if they're good habits, you're a good person. That will come out in these moments of obviously intense pressure.
I think that's the answer to the Oliver question too. I mean, these guys, the reputation is sterling of Mike Norvell's assistants. That's why they're going to get their shot. You're not going to give a shot to a Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State at his age if his reputation behind the scenes isn't that, he'll take it seriously. He's not going to wing it. But I mean, some guys kind of do because they're just that gifted, because they are that
or
gifted.
not, or they just get a chance
or they
somehow.
fake it till they make it. And they never do. But I mean, that's the thing with we're going to have the luncheon next Wednesday. It's a pleasure to talk to every single one of those coaches.
It is.
It is.
That is a fact.
That's not normal. It's just not.
I look forward to that every year because we learn something. This is the time of year before the practice starts and I can evaluate how play is going. This player is playing well, this player is not. This is where you learn a little bit more, that you can glean a little bit more because of questions you're allowed to ask in a relaxed setting.
And that's not to say that that's going to translate to wins because you got your eye on 2 or 3 coaches on that staff that are great guys. I hope they do it.
Yeah, and you can't pull punches with that. I mean, this is a very simple task at hand here. One of the things I always liked about this job, and I'm paid to give an opinion. Well, look, man, you're winning or you're losing, and these guys are succeeding or they're not.
Yeah.
The personal feeling one way or the other, there have been plenty of guys I like and dislike, and they've had success, not have success, but the evidence is the evidence. You got to talk about it.
Yeah, I wish I liked another guy, and then when I got fired, I had millions in the bank.
That'd be a good deal. This didn't work out for me. I'm going to go sit on the beach for 10 years because I can. Jeff Cameron Show broadcasting from Charlotte, ACC Kickoff, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Guys, our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutritional supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it quite literally every single day. I began using AG1 because, I'll be honest with you, I don't like to take a bunch of pills and vitamins, and I just wanted something that tastes great, was quick, and easy to remember. So I do it. I do it every morning when I wake up. I certainly have it right after my coffee and before I work out. And I will tell you this, too. It is a simple, effective investment for your health. You can try AG1 and get 5 free AG1 travel packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/JCS. Again, that's all you got to do is go to drinkag1.com/JCS. That's drinkag1.com/JCS. Check it out. It's delicious. It's quick. It's easy. It's proven. Vitamins, probiotics, whole food source nutrients. Start your day with it. You'll feel better. I promise.
Let's take a minute to imagine all the things you can accomplish with help from Southeast Portable Buildings. Are you a hoarder? Hoard some more. Get a storage shed. Mother-in-law moving in with you? Put her in a shed out back. I'm kidding. Still working on that engine that you're going to finish from last summer? Move it out to a new workspace with Southeast Portable Buildings. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. Well, you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears is what you're saying.
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want I don't know, longevity time, a mouse?
Just a slow burn.
Slow little burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I can still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.
Jeff Cameron Show continuing here from Charlotte. Now, kind of a mix of Jeff Cameron Show because we wanted to have some segments while we were here, taking it all in live in Charlotte from the ballroom, Radio Row, all of that, Tom, but also live segments or morning segments. It's a weird week. It's been a weird 2 weeks.
It has.
Things normalize when we get back to Tallahassee, really beginning Thursday, Friday, and then on into the following week as we get set. I just had a good conversation with Derek over lunch, and he's in great spirits.
Florida State Sports Information Director, for those of you who are uninitiated.
Sorry about that. But, I think it's interesting. He's clearly ready for the guys to get here. Norvell arrives tonight at the time that we are taping this, and it is a different feel. That was the question from a lot of the listeners before we came here was, is it different this time around? Because there are legitimate expectations for Florida State to be amongst the upper crust. And I think that the answer is yes, without question. It got mentioned even at the commissioner's press conference at the end when he was asked, 2 of your teams are, coming into the season with very high expectations. And he, of course, tried to make the case for some other teams perhaps to be injected into that conversation, as a commissioner would, trying to prop up all of his other teams. But it was led with Florida State and Clemson. And listen, Clemson's every year, so that's old hat, and we're trying to get back to that being old hat in Tallahassee. And I think that's the feeling here. The first thing that guys who work the other beats came up and said to me when we saw each other here at the convention center, at the hotel, Florida State's back, huh?
Yeah, what's old is new again. Just to paint the picture the way I see it, been here the last couple of years. It was my first assignment for Warchant when I joined the staff here a couple of years ago. And it reminds me of the old days with Florida State when we were in different parts of Pinehurst and Greensboro. We've been different places when I first came to the ACC kickoffs, and they weren't in as decadent of a place. Like, Pinehurst is amazing, but the setup for the event itself was kind of in these tucked away ballrooms, and it didn't have the lights, the camera, the action that the ACC kickoff does now. But I will say, looking around here, if you look at the refreshment stations, there are fewer of them. The internet quality during Seminole headlines, that was a headache. That dropped out. The paint is kind of cracking on the walls here. This feels like a league that is receding a little bit in terms of the way it is spending. The presentation is not as strong as the league. But here's Florida State coming up. It just reminds me, when this was at its fanciest the last couple of years, it's all Clemson all the time. Here comes Florida State, and it feels like the ACC I remember when I first started coming to this event about 10, 12 years ago. This is a little shakier than the past few years.
To your larger point, I've had a lot of people say something similar. Doesn't this place just seem small? Doesn't it feel small? The conference feels small because those numbers get bantied about all the time. They make national news. They're in article after article. People now know what these numbers are and what they represent, and they see the evidence of what that money means. The SEC has won the last 5 college baseball championships. 5 different SEC teams have done that. The ACC strength perennially was that they were going to be dominant in basketball. They're not dominant in basketball. They ironically may have 2 top 10 football teams this year again.
Right.
But it's at a time where the conference feels like it's holding on for dear life to remain intact as is.
Will it have 2 top 10 basketball teams this year? Maybe.
The commissioner is left in an unenviable position. For as much fun as we have at his expense, he doesn't have a lot of options. He doesn't have a lot that he can say. And if you don't, for example, announce at the ACC kickoff your new partnership with ESPN for women's basketball, where else are you going to announce it?
Yeah,
so you kind of have to say it now. The
Yeah.
problem is the second you go down that path, everybody collectively rolls their eyes at home because they recognize that, well, it's nice. Listen, you never want to besmirch the rise of women's sports or non-revenue sports.
No, that's real.
Olympic sports are a real thing. It
Yeah.
matters. It's great to have success in those sports. But you also know that it must be married with revenue gains in the sports that are obviously in a position to do so. And if they're not, it doesn't do you any good, because here's why. You can cite it now, but it's short-sighted because it won't continue.
Correct. Well, what I'm saying when it comes to women's sports is that's real. The growth is substantial, specifically in softball, but some of the other sports are coming up in terms of viewership. But look, I look at women's sports, even one like softball, that I think is actually a more valuable entity for television than baseball over the next 10 or 20 years. I just think it's going to make more money than college baseball will. I still look at it as less than basketball, and I look at basketball as unimportant relative to football. No, I'm just saying, in terms of where the money comes from. If we're having that conversation about what cashes the checks, we all know what cashes the checks.
Well, that's correct, yes. And to have a larger discussion about how excited you are with lacrosse's success in women's soccer it's fine, but it's the kind of thing that you maybe mentioned in passing as on your way to pointing to all of the numbers that you're, seeing shift in a positive for football.
Yeah.
It's not something you hang your hat on as you lead.
Correct.
The speech.
Yes, and there was one point in his speech, recording this on Tuesday ahead of a Wednesday airing. So today he said, can't wait here. This is a big season, get to talk about football. And then he immediately went more into Olympic sports. It was the sequencing of it. Look, man, he was stronger. If we're just going to break this down like the PR firm would, he was much stronger in the Q&A than he was in the State of the ACC Union, if you will.
Yes, he was. Yes.
He was meek. He was old. He was weak at the podium for his opening statement. It looked like he hadn't read some of those notes at any point before the speech itself, stumbling through his words and his glasses down, reading here. That can't happen, man. If you're trying to promote strength and you're trying to emanate what you want the ACC to be, you can't be a guy who's flipping through pages of a binder as he's reading as though it's some sort of council hearing. He was far better in the Q&A, engaging, cracking a little joke here or there.
I felt like, Tom, one of the reasons for that was that he did not want to broach subjects about something he knows they're falling behind in if he didn't have to, but he was prepared to answer the questions if they came up. But he didn't want to give ammunition. So there's always a sense of avoidance here. There's always the elephant in the room that we're ignoring.
Northwestern didn't help either. He knew he had to deal with that at the end. I think he was nervous about that.
Oh, very. And, again, I think Corey Clark did a good job of bringing up in our Seminole headlines discussion. Isn't it ironic that you had a 20-year-old kid a little while back who said that he could not speak about subjects that were of a legal nature, and they peppered him with more questions after that statement over and over and over again, trying to get him to crack, trying to get him to answer those questions, even though he had expressly stated he could not. Yet the commissioner of the conference issues one statement about he cannot speak on legal matters, and nobody follows it up with a question.
Yeah.
So,
in my own mind, I had said, because the forum for questions lasted 25, 30 minutes itself, I'd set the personal over under 1.5 questions, because you don't get too many of them because he'll filibuster and it'll take 4 minutes to answer one. So you're running out of ammunition. I knew the first one wouldn't be. They handpicked Andrea Adelson. Sorry, man, to ESPN. That's the network. You got to work together there. The first question can't be about Northwestern. I know that was part of their prep. You would be foolish to not make that part of your prep. But I thought it was going to be 1 or 2 questions about it, and there were zero.
So I think what we do then is we just move forward here. And again, it's fine to say that, hey, look, on the one hand, he presented weak. On the other hand, he doesn't have a hand to play.
Correct.
On the other hand, if you would, he finds a way to take a bad situation and make it worse with certain comments that he makes year in and year out now. It's become the norm that we cringe a little bit during these addresses. It's unfortunate.
We snooze is what we do.
The other thing to point out is that it's going to be beating a dead horse at some point. We're going to not be – say we're here this time next year, and we're still in the ACC, and the revenue gaps continue to grow, and the projections are dark, gloomy projections for the ACC. Well, he's got to give another speech, and he's going to do exactly what he just did. He's going to cite the successes of soccer and tennis and women's basketball, and he's going to cite the success of
– I'm glad you had to check that to women's basketball, not men's basketball.
No, they don't have a lot of success in that anymore. He's going to cite the successes of non-revenue sports. And again, we're going to be put in the unenviable position of having to spit on that in a way it makes you look bad to dismiss the successes of those sports,
Yeah.
while also knowing that we're only doing that because without the success of big-time college football, you really cannot sustain any success for any sport.
Yeah.
So we can't keep talking about that. Now we have to get back to the core issue, which is how soon will we see advancements towards Florida State exiting this conference?
Yeah.
And that's hard to answer. You're not going to get anybody definitive on the record, I can tell you that. You're going to have to listen for and be tuned in to whispers, rumor, the stuff that we're doing on a regular basis now. You're going to have to reach out to your sources and see if there's somebody telling you about something that is happening in the bowels of stadiums across the ACC. You got to find out that there's a back room somewhere where things are being negotiated.
Oh, my God.
To
Michael
get out of
Alford's
here.
in Columbus.
Right.
Michael Alford's in Columbus.
Seriously, you're going to have – I mean, that's what we're going to do now from this point forward. And listen, watching Commissioner Phillips speak today, do you think Mike Alford is like, you know what? I feel good about things. No, he is already he's more important.
And why we talked about it on the drive over, but the Amelia Island thing was just a weird choice. It was just a choice I would not have made to go that far.
Yeah.
The olive branch does not need to be extended. You don't need two branches.
No.
Just one will do.
Not even one. I would have just not been mean.
Right, exactly.
That's all.
We all know the drill, guys. What's the drill? We all know it, and then just keep powering forward.
Power forward. That's right.
The one thing I will say, quick aside on basketball, Miami did make it
to the final
to the end.
Oh, yeah.
To the end.
Did they reach a championship game?
They did not win the championship.
No, I know they didn't win.
Yeah, they were in.
They were in the final.
Do you think? But here's what I'm saying. Do you think if North Carolina was in the final, that might have gotten mentioned at the podium?
100%. Yeah. Shame Miami got ignored.
That's what I'm just saying.
Tragic. We all forgot already.
Yeah.
Oh,
if it was Duke, it was in his first year.
Yeah. I'll just say, good job, Commissioner Phillips. Good job ignoring that blip
Miami's
on the radar. There's no reason to bring him up. We all know it was a fluke. It can't happen again. It'll never happen again. There you go. Just keep on, keep it on. Let's reference the women. Let's talk about soccer and softball.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get into some lacrosse and tennis talk, perhaps some diving and swimming talk. No need to mention the Canes going to the finals, the NCAA tournament last year. Yeah, you're right. They did. They just totally just right past them. That's crazy. I wondered what he was going to say. I wondered if there would be hints at a solution moving forward. And, of course, there was not hints at a solution whatsoever. It was sort of status quo, and we'll champion the successes. We'll belittle, to some degree, the idea that you should chase money, even though that's a disingenuous stance. Because he understands long-term.
No, what the hell was that? That was disingenuous as hell. It's not about getting to a number. Yes, it is.
It's exactly about
that's what it's all about. UConn destroyed Miami in the Final Four. They didn't make it to the final game. I'm like you. I didn't watch it.
I was just say I didn't think they got to the final.
Yeah, UConn beat their ass.
They had gotten to the final. They were really nervous.
If North Carolina made it to the Final Four, if Syracuse made it to the Final Four, oh my God, it'd be the first thing he mentions. How about that, guys?
Yeah, but alas, they did not. I will say too that when he talked about an 8-point plan,
yes,
a holistic focus, and other sort of euphemisms
with
and some
fish egg or
whatever that was.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to follow it up with some numbers. I thought he was going to say, this is what it means to the conference. Here's something tangible that I'm giving you, but he didn't.
It was a good question from the back. What specifically has happened in the last year to expand the revenue? And he says his first part of the answer is the conference is healthy. It just is. Oh, man, that's when you know you got nothing.
That's me talking to my kids, and I've got them dead to rights for something that they were supposed to do, but they didn't. Yep. And then I ask them, and they give me some absurd deflection. Oh, it'll get done. Did you do it? Mm-hmm. It's Dad. Yep. That's not an answer.
Right.
Did you?
Right. The conference is healthy. It just
is.
Okay.
Politicians do that. When they get caught red-handed, and you ask them, "Did this happen? Did this happen?" Well, I mean,
usually one who does that has charisma. You know what I'm saying? Now, I still stand by the fact that the Q&A he was far better and more engaging. Because he took his glasses off and looked at the world instead of hiding behind the podium.
I think because last year's address went so poorly, he didn't want to get off script. Because the one time he got off script today, it was also a disaster.
Oh my God! He
somehow brought up a lift.
How did you do that? Dude.
How do you do that? It's polarizing as hell.
We know that the CW is getting into sports and, with Liv, they got their issues.
Yeah, yeah. As soon as he did it, I thought of the Jeff Cameron Show PR firm, and I wanted to be like on the side of the apron. No, why?
How about?
Why?
I think their president Dennis Miller's here. Dennis, if you're in the room, raise your hand.
Well,
no,
maybe he didn't make it.
Maybe he didn't make it.
Now, if this happens at the SEC, that your media partner does not show up, do you? First of all, you don't stand up there and go down that road and not know. You don't know he's Dennis. Where are you? What are we doing here?
Also, apparently, Dennis ain't so enthused about the deal because Dennis ain't here.
Dennis is chilling at his house, like in the Smokies. He's like, "Oh, the ACC media days."
I mean, what did Dennis actually do? Dennis is like, "Oh, so you want Raycom to put the games on? All I need to give you is a thumbs up."
Yep, got it.
There you go.
There you go, CW.
All right, thanks, everybody. Been a pleasure.
So that's a synopsis of a whole lot of no advancements for the ACC and the feel in the room and how little it feels compared to when we used to go to these things. And it's depressing. It's depressing, but at the same time, we're here. We're continuing to try to get what we can for you.
And the internet worked for this entire segment, so that's a plus.
And tomorrow, for the Jeff Cameron Show, we'll react to what Mike Norvell had to say and what obviously Kalen DeLoach had to say, Jared Verse had to say, and now obviously Jordan Travis, who we're going to have as well. So, I mean, we may save some of that content, Tom, for Thursday's show because it's going to get redundant. But I think we can break out and talk a little bit about, sort of the angles and what Mike
The way
reveals.
you talk to Norvell is different. Very different.
It is.
And the people shouldn't have that lost in the wash at 2 45-minute availabilities with Mike Norvell.
That is correct. Jeff Cameron Show live. It'll be taped by the time you hear this. The ACC Kickoff in Charlotte.
Your existing hot tub? Now's the absolute best time to do it. Hot Spring Spas has the jets on full blast, and the prices right now have never been hotter. You can find huge savings at Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas, and we mean huge. For a limited time, you can get up to $5,000 off in instant discounts and rebates, plus 60 months no interest financing for qualified buyers. You heard that right, $5,000 in discounts. And that's not all. When you buy a hot spring spa from Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas, you'll get a free consultation to determine the best placement in your yard for installation, a free accessory of your choice, and install can be completed in just a matter of days. It's the most aggressive rebate program that's ever been available to buyers from Hot Spring Spas. So stop by Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road today to check out their 12,000 square foot showroom with over 50 hot tubs on site. If you're ready to relax, Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
Just a call away. 222-7722. Heating and cooling is the job we do. Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. Florida license number CMC 050334.
Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away. Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away.
Hey, this is your stomach speaking. It's time to eat again. We met deadlines and closed out the workday like a boss. The last thing you want to do is cook dinner. Even worse, pick up any fast food garbage. We need something good, something local. We need foodiestakeout.com. An all-star lineup of local spots like Smitty's Tap House, El Jalisco, Dairy's Cafe, Hangar 38, Metro Deli, and more. It's so easy. Just choose pickup or delivery, and let's eat the good stuff. I'm growling already. Visit foodiestakeout.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
This is Brett Musburger's Action Update. The best way to start betting smarter is to sign up for a free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe.
Discover seasonal sensations full of passion and flavor at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo. This summer, escape to your own Peruvian paradise in the capital city and experience handcrafted, colorful, refreshing cocktails like the Chilcano de Maracuyá, made with authentic pisco, mixed with lime juice, passion fruit, a splash of ginger ale, and bitters. Or enjoy a classic pisco sour made from grapes produced in the nutrient-rich lands of Peru. At Café de Martín and El Bar, everything is handmade from fresh ingredients con amor y pasión, with love and passion. From the moment you open the doors, you're immersed in the culture and transported to Tallahassee's only upscale Peruvian culinary experience, full of surprises with every dish and every drink. It's Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Espositos Shopping Center. Open Monday through Saturday for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Online at cafedemartin.com.
Want a Zaxby's Big Zax snack meal for free? With free fingers, free fries, free Zax sauce, even free Texas toast? All you have to do is download the Zaxby's app. Did you download it yet? Woo, saucy! Zaxby's.
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
I'll never forget
that moment.
As long as I live.
As long as I live.
My first call-up ever as a member of the National Guard.
When we got to the armory, they briefed us on the wildfires. They were getting dangerously close to homes.
Helicopters were going out to drop water on the fires. Guys in the unit were preparing for firefighting with local fire crews.
At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This is Brian Kilmeade, and I'm excited to be on the air in the capital city. Be sure to tune into my show. I'll be giving you all the latest news, information, and the truth you demand. The Brian Kilmeade Show is live from 9 till noon, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
Real Talk fact number 44. Banging your head against the wall for 1 hour burns 150 calories. This is Real Talk 93.3, Tallahassee's Real Talk station. Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, live in Charlotte, North Carolina for the ACC Kickoff. Let me get you updated really quickly. So last hour, if you're just tuning in, you may have missed it. We had Mario Cristobal on, talked a little Miami football, and I admitted that I enjoyed the interview. I enjoyed conversing with Mario Cristobal. Didn't think I would.
He's not afraid of speaking to why he made the changes he did, both on the roster and in the coaching staff. I was fairly forthcoming from a head coach. Usually they're extremely guarded, but he was willing to speak.
Yeah, I appreciated it. He was direct, forward, and seemed like a good enough guy. Okay, that said, we're not rooting for Miami, though.
Nope.
If you missed that interview, it's available now. We're going to roll out throughout the day, and at the time you're watching this, it's probably some of the stuff's already come out because the breakouts were this morning, Tom.
For the local media.
The local media. So we had the opportunity to talk to Mike Norvell and Jordan Travis and Jared Verse.
Kalen Deloach.
Kalen Deloach, sorry, Kalen Deloach. That was not. No, I can hear it now. No, sorry. I forgot that they're doing 3 these days. Yes, Kalen Deloach. And it was great. And so you'll get all those videos, and obviously Ira will be writing stories about what they had to say. Really, it's a glutton of items that we have for you here from ACC Kickoff today. And so this stuff will last all through. In fact, for that reason, the interview that I did with Mike Norvell is not running on today's show, but running rather tomorrow's show, Tom. And that's what we have coming for you tomorrow. It was going to get lost in the sea of video that everybody has access to today.
9:15 availability. He speaks before the TV stations at 1:30, and then he speaks for 45 more minutes in the breakout room starting at 2 o'clock Eastern. So there's going to be over an hour of Mike Norvell stuff. You'll get the procedural answers, but we're going to do a bit of a deep dive in the interview that was conducted here on radio.
Yeah, kind of like we did a year ago when I wasn't here, but I had him on the show, and we talked at length, and that was when we got him to reveal when practice was going to start. We now know that, by the way. And so, that was a fun conversation. And Mike, really is good about opening up, and I think he's gotten to where he trusts certain members of the media, certainly. I'm happy to be a part of that list. And also, I think he's always been really pretty candid with us. So this year, the difference is, of course, that Florida State is expected to compete to win the conference. And they really have never shied away from that. I don't think that there's anything that you hear from Mike Norvell that leads you to think that they are worried about those expectations. They expect them. They want them. I think it's fuel. I think, frankly, when you have a goal and you're closer to reaching that goal. Here's an example. I mean, we've all had physical goals, workout goals, whatever they might be. And Tom's wife, Jamie, has run a marathon. I've never run a marathon. So
ran the dopey.
Yeah, so she trained for that marathon. Here's the deal. When you put in the hours, and it could be any physical thing, but I'm using this as an example of a great achievement because it is. When you put in the time, she has her long run days. She's got to plan all these things out. And when race day comes, when it's a marathon day, I mean, you're nervous. I imagine you have butterflies, but you're not shying away from the moment of truth because you've put in all the time and the effort to get to that day.
And that's the reward, as you like to say about the game.
Yeah, the game's
because you get to see the sights. That's the whole point. Is anybody can run a certain length anywhere they want, but you go to destinations to do it because it's cool.
And it's your just due. You've done this. You've put in the work. Now here's your grand reward. You'll have this forever. You wouldn't walk away from that. Well, football coaches don't coach to be mediocre or they get fired. Yeah. Players don't go out there to play so that they can go 7-5, 6-6. They're trying to win championships. They're trying to put themselves in a position to where obviously they better their stock in the NFL, make a payday someday. They're hoping to win rings. They're hoping to win conference titles. They're hoping to win All-American awards. The games give you those opportunities. When you get to a place where now the spotlight is brighter than it's been, you relish it because of all of the blood, sweat, and tears that led up to that moment, but also to those expectations.
So Mike Norvell has been remarkably consistent, wouldn't you say, in his approach from the day one before the pandemic to the present day?
Yeah. It's the number one thing that he has going for him is that he's never really wavered with that.
I've had occasion to talk to a few people who've been around the program over the years, and what they've told me, I find this interesting, is if it's a rivalry weekend, a rivalry game upcoming, so it's the Monday of that week, or it's a high-profile game, you can feel a different intensity in him. It's not that his approach changes per se, but, maybe you get that report in a couple minutes early because it's rivalry week and coaches really dialed in. Coaches are like that, and he will be that way for LSU. But I just wonder if we might see a couple of signs that this season, with the stakes being higher, Mike Norvell already called attention to it at bowl practice when he said we expect to win championships. First time he's ever said that here. Maybe the opening press conference, but not since that point. I wonder if you see, I don't think practice will change, but maybe sideline demeanor, a comment here or there. He's already declared this is different this year. So what does that look and sound like for him?
I'll tell you what it sounds like. It sounds like the attention to detail, which has always been good, is enforced at a greater volume.
Enforcement. Yeah.
It's enforcement because we saw in spring. I think he recognized they were going the right direction. They were getting to a place that they were on the cusp of being very good, and they were going to make additions. I don't know that they knew they were going to get Keon Coleman, let's say, but they were going to effort to make. They were going to try and bring in people.
The press conference after spring, the game, or the showcase.
Right.
He did seem like, okay, we've done what we came here to do.
That's correct. And so I thought I saw it in spring on occasion. He got hardcore one day on Johnny Wilson.
Yep.
And that was interesting to me because Johnny Wilson kind of tried to jog away, and he was like, no. And it wasn't even that Johnny was being disrespectful. I don't want to paint the wrong picture. But when you're being yelled at by a coach, you don't want to just sit there and get screamed down.
You move to the next, in line. You get back in line.
Right. But he was followed by Mike. I saw Mike do
right. Yeah, he did.
But Mike did that with a lot of guys this spring, guys that he expects more of, guys that he's counting on.
Yeah.
He yelled at Jordan one day, not at length, but he got on Jordan about something.
He'll get on the support staff, too. It could be about the crowd noise. It could be about the sequencing, the clock. They hold up the clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened a time, but I think the frequency of that might go up.
It's going up. Yeah, because, listen, there is pressure. There is pressure. Last year they had pressure to have a winning season. They had pressure to break out of this malaise of suck and move on into a realm that you could be happy to say, hey, we're at least a winning program going to bowls, and now we've got other goals that we can achieve because we've gotten past this very difficult time. We've elevated, we've raised the floor. All right, but once you do that, like I said, it doesn't get easier. It just changes those expectations. Now you got to have a big year. You got to win the conference, man. There is a very palpable sense that this is the time to win the conference, wrestle away power from Clemson at this point, and go win some meaningful football games for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, for what it does. I mean, we talk about the short-term and the long-term benefits of that. They're all obvious, but you've got to go do it. I mean, you set up this house of cards in a way. I'm not saying it's fake, but I'm just saying you've taken time to put yourself in this position. Put the last one on top, will you?
Let's go. I think you'll see an intensely focused man, and I think it'll be that way throughout camp. And I think that obviously it's aided by the fact, or elevated by the fact, that you play LSU out the gates, and we know what a battle that's going to be. And the time is nearly upon us. It's a beautiful thing. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV, as we broadcast from ACC Kickoff here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Choose the right coverage for myself and my wife?
We sure can. We can help you choose from Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, or standalone prescription drug plans from over 30 different insurance carriers.
How much does it cost? We have a fixed income and can't afford extra expenses.
At the Medicare Help Desk, the consultation is completely free. We are here to help.
Thank you, Medicare Help Desk.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. In my 17 years of experience, I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk, a place for you to get clear answers to all your questions and make sense of all the confusion. I've helped thousands of clients, and I live right here in Tallahassee with my family. I am active in my church and wish to help and serve my community. If you need help navigating the Medicare landscape, I'm easy to find. Just visit the MedicareHelpDesk.com. That's the MedicareHelpDesk.com.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. Some people call me Paul because I work at Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Everyone that works here will proudly answer to the name Paul. One of the things I love about my job is that I get to help people fix their problems every day. If you have pests in your home, and you're like 99.9% of the people I deal with, you want them gone, not tomorrow, but right now. It always puts a smile on my face to hear the reaction of a customer when I tell them we'll have someone out there in a couple of hours. At Paul's, I get the privilege of making your environment safer and more healthy for your family and pets. And because Paul's provides a same-day service guarantee with minimal wait, we get to begin the process right after I receive the call.
If you live in Leon County and call us by noon, Paul's Pest Control will be out by 5, guaranteed. We're a local company, and it's our mission to help keep Tallahassee area customers comfortable and free from the problem that pests bring. And we do so with treatments that are friendly to our environment for the elimination of termites and any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Hi, everybody. It's Ed Dean, Florida's #1 statewide radio talk show, now in Tallahassee afternoon drive from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on Real Talk 93.3 FM. Yes, highly entertaining, fast-paced, never boring. We always give you the story behind the story when you catch the Ed Dean radio show. And we are ready to go. Tallahassee daily, 5 to 6 p.m. It's the Ed Dean radio show on Real Talk 93.3 FM WVFT.
A cup of Joe, Java, brew, go-go beans, brain water, liquid lightning, wakey juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Get to grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSU.
Need to satisfy your chicken craving? Then head on over to your neighborhood Tallahassee Zaxby's. We've got hand-breaded chicken fingers, boneless and traditional wings, supersized sandwiches, fresh-made salads, and a galaxy of sauces from mild to wild, plus shareable sides and platters for tailgates. It's all made to order. It's just how you like it. Your Tallahassee Zaxby's, a proud Golden Chief booster for over 18 years. Go Noles. So we heard from Jim Phillips, and we've documented that repeatedly. The Big Ten has the same event going on, Media Days. Lucas Oil Stadium, the annual site for their conference championship game. Players and coaches from 7 different schools. This will take the stage each day for a series of interviews, just documenting the similarities and everything for conference kickoff. And, of course, last year there was a buzz, and it was confirmed with USC and UCLA making their way to the Big Ten, and now we go from there. Now,
is Michael Alford out there? No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to break that?
Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren was a star in that moment after the league shocked the college football world by saying, yeah, we're not playing any of these games where we're aligned with anybody. We're just going to go ahead and bring in Southern Cal and UCLA. That's what we're going to do. That was their announcement.
If there was a deep fake and juke, wouldn't it be amazing if Florida State sent their sports info director to Charlotte to scan the surroundings the day before
awesome.
And throw everybody off? Throw him off the scent. He was always sent here to keep everybody calm. It's not going to happen, but that would be hilarious.
Well, here's why I bring any of this up. I'm setting up the backdrop once again so you're reminded how these things can go, all right, as opposed to what just happened here. Here's how these things can go. Kevin Warren steps up, Big Ten Media Days, shocks everybody, announces the stunning addition of USC and UCLA, then from there discusses the merits of those additions, then goes on to say, hey, a few weeks later from there, they announced the Big Ten's new 7-year, $7 billion TV deal.
Yeah.
So this guy comes through as, at the time, a rock star, and then he takes another job and takes over the Chicago Bears as president. All right, but nonetheless, that happened. That was a whole thing. Can you imagine being there, covering the Big Ten, covering a school?
I was here.
Yeah, as that's happening. Meanwhile, we've got what we have here, and we had what we had a year ago. And you compare and contrast the two and go, ooh.
There were a lot of faces.
Moving in polar opposite directions, my friends.
So first of all, on day one of the ACC kickoff, it's a little unfair because now it's a 3-day event, so you're watering down the days. If it feels a little bit deader, it should be because you have lesser teams here. And I'm talking about the amount of them.
Right.
But you saw a lot of people in these hallways around 5 o'clock on day one of the ACC kickoff when that news came down with expressions like they saw a ghost. Just, oh, wow.
Right. So that happened. Now this year, so again, we're comparing and contrasting the ACC kickoff to the Big Ten kickoff from a year ago. We already know what the SEC does. And then you have this year, the commissioner of the ACC basically telling you, I can't talk about anything that's happening with my former place of employment. Northwestern this year will not be attending. The players will not be attending the Big Ten Media Days. And guess what? That big news, that firestorm, once again, directly impacts the ACC as the commissioner of the ACC is having to deflect and talk about why it is he can't address these
Well,
things.
between that, there are a lot of things he couldn't share. Remember, he was asked about revenue generation, and he talks about, the 8-point plan, the conference is healthy. It just
Holistic approach.
But he said, we've also got some new things that we've got cooked up that I can't share with you right now, which to me sounds like Monday at a sales meeting that we've been at far too often with that one guy or gal who is just riding out the string on their guarantee, and they know they're not going to meet their minimums.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've got a few irons in the
things
fire
out there. Got some things.
And then after the third week of that, the GSM says, "Oh yeah, like what and where? When will you go? I'd like to go with you. Can I go on that
Can
call?
I talk to this gentleman?" Yes. Then
That's the thing. That's what I felt when he was on the podium. And he said it twice. We've got some other things that announcements will be coming.
It's so funny the way it plays out. As soon as you hear it, you're like, I don't believe you.
That's correct.
Think about that. Like, I'm not saying that guy's a liar. What I'm telling you is that's how desperately sad situation is here, where my man says that and everybody goes,
Well, it sounds just like last year when he said, I've got an inkling that if Notre Dame's going to join a conference, it's going to be this one. Let me tell you, that's the energy he brought. Whereas today he's like, no, they were very blunt. They were very direct.
I'll give you another one. Remember when Willie Taggart didn't get a single recruit to say yes at the position of quarterback? And when was asked about how it is that we have not recruited a quarterback and that it might be a good idea to get a quarterback in one of these classes, he told you he had a plan. We've got a plan. We've got a plan in place for quarterback. We've got a plan. I remember thinking, no, you don't. I don't believe you.
I don't remember that.
Oh, buddy, go back and check it. It's great. He didn't have – well, you do remember he didn't get a quarterback.
No, I do remember that. No, just the plan part.
He was asked about it. We've got a plan. We've got a plan.
I think my brain doesn't allow me to go back to those days.
I repeated in my head the words, I don't believe you. I don't think that you do. You're the same coach that currently sits one man down on his coaching staff.
That's right.
And you think it seems to be, hunky-dory. It's normal to be a man down on your coaching staff. That didn't seem normal either. It was all going terribly wrong.
I forgot about that, too.
Oh, yeah. Another coach just leaned up against the goalpost all day.
I remember David Kelly.
Yes. Did nothing.
That's right.
A whole lot of things, Tom, that were adding up to a problem. They were sounding the alarm.
Yep.
It was troubling. And so I
feel the alarm is being sounded?
Oh, buddy, I'm just it mirrors it. It echoes. There's the I don't believe you. I don't think that's true. Going off in my head. I want to say that. Like, sir, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Just keep telling us about women's soccer. That's fine. Tell us about the lacrosse and all the good stuff there. Yep. Don't tell me you got some plan in place. You don't have a plan in place.
You won't
doesn't exist.
You won't believe the revenue we're about to generate. I can't go into the specifics. Okay.
And I really want to.
Yes. In fact, I'm angry that we're not able to enumerate those specifics right here, right now. But trust me.
It was announced last week, by the way, that Iowa defensive lineman Noah Shannon would not make the trip to Indianapolis. He was chosen as one of Iowa's 3-player representatives alongside defensive back Cooper DeJean and tight end Luke Lacey. Instead, they're going to bring Jay Higgins. You know why? Because Shannon is one of 26 Iowa athletes across all sports under investigation for sports wagering.
Can we just – okay. We were never in that situation where we could legally or close enough sports gamble in a way that you can today. You didn't have your phone or the internet to go on and say, even if you were in a state that didn't allow it, let's find Bet Online and make it happen. If you don't bet on college football, can this be a non-issue? does this imply that these kids are betting on their own sports? Because if you're betting on college sports and it's not your own, I get it. You might have a friend in the athletic department who's on the track team,
right.
And you tell that friend on the track team
you can't bet on
that
the school that you can't.
Don't bet on your own school.
You can't bet on your own school. I would argue you just can't bet collegiate sports if you're a collegiate athlete.
But how the hell are you going to enforce that? Like, I just think this is a total waste.
But I get back to this all the time, man. People do illegal things or unscrupulous things poorly. I'm not even judging the act. I'm saying you do this poorly. It's like the dude transporting huge amounts of weed in his trunk, driving down the interstate in the dead of night with his lights off. What are you doing? You're trying to get caught. This is not difficult. Again, not even passing judgment on the fact that they're gambling.
Right.
I'm saying, okay, I got a buddy named Tom.
Come on, Nate Newton.
What are we doing?
Yeah,
right, guys. Your tag can't be expired if you're a drug runner.
Right.
We got to keep things on the up and up. It's hard enough.
At least Jordan Addison didn't have an unregistered gun or some sort of, I don't know, opioid. You know?
Yeah.
When he's driving, driving at 140 miles an hour.
Yes,
you better not have anything questionable in that car if you're going to go drive 140 miles an hour.
And oh, by the way, as it turns out,
it's for a dog.
It's for a dog. And the second he said it, I went, "That's good, Jordan. That's good." Who's going to argue with that?
Do you think the PR firm?
Oh,
was
buddy,
all over
I was
one?
like, "Sir, you win." I'm adding it to the placards. It was for my dog. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you had the dog with him, and what if that's the case, then you really
I'm
win.
sure he didn't.
I don't know. It was a dog emergency. We don't know. Maybe the dog was in the back. But what I'm saying is that was a good one. As soon as I heard that one, I went, "Ooh, you're on to something there."
140 and a 55.
We can use this. We can use this.
You don't understand.
It's for my dog.
The bond that my dog and I have.
But the good thing is most people do. They do understand that bond, and they're like, "I got you, man. Go ahead. Free to go on your way."
My bond is so strong that I will nearly triple the speed limit.
Let me tell you, not only will I triple it, you're going to give me an escort there because you feel the same compassion for dogs that I do. Come on, let's go. That guy would be like, "Yep, I'm in. Let's go." No, but back to this. Again, this shouldn't be hard, man. Okay, I'm Jeff Cameron playing safety at ETSU, and I got a friend named Tom Lang, and Tom says, "Hey, man, can you believe that Cowboys line? It's -3.5 in Tampa. There's no chance you're taking that, are you?" All right, buddy, you know what to do there. That's the end of the discussion. We've made the bet. We've made the bet. There's no tracing this. There's no chance. It's just a wink and a nod. It's I got you, buddy. We're in agreement.
Yes. And then you find a friend of a friend that could be trusted. Maybe it's somebody you know, but somebody you've never met that they know that they can trust.
It's just not hard.
And that's how it's done.
26 athletes? 26? What are you guys doing?
Well, I'm telling you that they're on a group chat. It's WhatsApp, it's Slack, it's iMessage, it's a group chat. Those are the 26. It's got to be.
Doesn't the WhatsApp disappear? Isn't encrypted? Isn't that the whole thing?
Using SMS messaging.
Isn't that the thing?
Or MMS messaging or whatever it is. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so naive. I would get caught. You know what? I've never had an affair, and I couldn't because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I wouldn't, but I couldn't because I'd get caught. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anything about these apps and
Well, we need to find – who do we need to find for the PR firm? You've got to go acquire a talent. This is somebody –
Who would tell me here's how this works?
For the clients.
For the clients, you do.
If we represent Rick Pitino, God knows.
What was the name of the website where all those guys got burned? They were married, and they would log into this website where women slept with married men. And then they had to give like
Adam and Eve.
It was something. It was a couple of years ago, like 10 years ago, probably now, or 8 years ago now. It was hilarious. That story cracked me up because it was all these businessmen.
Data leak.
And it was like all this data leak, and you're like, those guys must have been like, oh no, I've got an account. I'm screwed. That was the best.
I shouldn't have taken those low angle shots.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio.
Greg Oden.
What was the name of that thing? I'm going to find that thing. It wasn't Adam and Eve, but it sounds right. Like, on Adam and Eve. It's just like, and they're using their real names. Ted Wilson, 1332 East Lake Drive. Yeah.
Was he on Adam and Eve? He was on Adam and Steve.
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV. Hey guys, our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutritional supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it quite literally every single day. I began using AG1 because I'll be honest with you, I don't like to take a bunch of pills and vitamins, and I just wanted something that tastes great, was quick, and easy to remember. So I do it. I do it every morning when I wake up. I certainly have it right after my coffee and before I work out. And I will tell you this, too. It is a simple, effective investment for your health. You can try AG1 and get 5 free AG1 travel packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/JCS. Again, that's all you got to do is go to drinkag1.com/JCS. That's drinkag1.com/JCS. Check it out. It's delicious. It's quick. It's easy. It's proven. Vitamins, probiotics, whole food source nutrients. Start your day with it. You'll feel better. I promise.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured and you've got to be at work and rehab all without a car. I'm Dana Brooks of Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777 and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news.
It's a weird story, and I'm kind of laughing about how it happened, but Michigan is going to be without Jim Harbaugh, or so it looks like, for 4 games.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the NCAA actually doing something is insane. Recruiting violations and lying to the NCAA investigators is what he's charged with. So listen to this. Michigan and the NCAA are working on an agreement to suspend Harbaugh for the first 4 weeks of the year. That, according to Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports. He was the first to report the story. Now, here you go. This goes back to last winter. The NCAA was investigating Michigan for recruiting violations. First of all, that's hard to do, to have recruiting violations now.
That's right.
In a notice of allegations sent to Michigan last winter, the association cited 4 Level 2 violations, including meeting with 2 recruits during a COVID-19 dead period. Mm-hmm. All right, got it. Including meeting with, texting a recruit outside of an allowable time period, which I'm pretty sure probably always happens. Having analysts perform on-field coaching duties during practice, and having coaches watch players work out via Zoom. Here's my question. How'd they get caught?
I don't know, but I remember the speculation around Harbaugh and these violations back.
Well, he lied during the interview.
Correct. But during the playoff, they were talking about, is this it for him? Is he just going to leave rather than deal with the punishment? So, so many months go by with the damn NCAA that you think that nothing's ever going to come of it.
Right. He pulled a Ronald Reagan here from back during the Arms for Hostages Classic, or I should say Ollie North. He pulled an Ollie North. If you recall, North, my young audience is like, what the hell are we?
I'm kind of like, what the hell are we talking about? But yeah.
So Ollie North ended up telling everybody that he didn't trade arms for hostages when he did. And then when he got caught, and he was directed to do so. And then when he got caught, there were several times in which he was questioned, and he said, I don't recall, which is always the answer either presidents or whomever gives when they get in trouble. So the kicker to that story with Harbaugh was that he lied and was not truthful, quote unquote, during the investigation. Harbaugh himself said before that he couldn't really recall the events that took place and he was never purposefully dishonest. Lying during an investigation is a level 1 violation in the eyes of the NCAA.
Sure
that could lead to a 6-game suspension, but it looks likely there will be a resolution of 4 games. It is believed if Harbaugh would have been forthcoming right away, the punishment could have been a slap on the wrist, but because he lied, he got more. Remember that's what
I remember that part of the story. They're like, dude, just admit it. These are small things. These are nothing things.
Yeah,
just say you did it and we move forward. And he was indignant.
He was indignant, and he said he couldn't recall repeatedly and probably thought nothing would become of it because the NCAA, doesn't do much these days. Now,
Correct.
Here's the thing. Again, I want to ask this question. You texted a recruit during the time you weren't allowed to text recruits. I don't know how that would get caught unless the recruit told the NCAA, right? Like, I don't know how that would happen. You'd have to show the
Burnt
receipts.
bridge with a former assistant coach?
Maybe. Then from there, the meeting with 2 recruits during a COVID-19 dead period, I suppose if somebody saw you there, that could be something.
That could also be like, look, compliance is supposed to operate independent of the program, but maybe compliance slipped up and it's on a public record somewhere and they say, we got to eat this. I'm sorry. It's on an email. It's public record now.
The analyst coaching in practice on the field. So Florida State has analysts, and I've watched that very closely because it seems to me that it would be the easiest rule in the world to break and get away with.
Yeah. It's such a stupid rule.
Yeah.
How can you be standing there taking notes, but then you can't talk directly to the player? You could talk, it's just
the whole thing is
it's
hilarious.
A charade.
Yeah, all of this sounds to be that, but somehow he screwed this up just because he lied.
Yeah.
And they, at that point, were probably really out to get him because they knew he was lying. And they had countless others that were saying that he was lying. Like, well, Jim was there. We know he was there, and he can't forget something he was at just a year ago unless he has dementia, in which case Michigan's in trouble. But, I mean, goodness gracious.
They're in trouble, Mike.
But that's a 4-game suspension. Now, I suppose what we should do is look at their schedule and see if that's going to matter at all. Frankly, I don't think it ever does. The install and the game plan and those things happen all during the week. Game day, I'm not telling you that a coach doesn't matter, but I am telling you that perhaps on game day itself, a coach is a little overrated, a head coach.
Okay.
A little overrated. Everything that you were going to do and all of the contingency plans have been gone over ad nauseum prior to that game. So all play calls, everything second and long to second and medium, second and short to third and long to third, all of that. Now, can a coach, change his mind midway through the third quarter on a trend that he sees and he decides to impromptu deviate from these? Yeah, but so can his right-hand man, his offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
I don't think it really changes.
No, I think the value of the head coach is knowing the weakness of the coordinator or the play caller on either side. And knowing when they're panicking and knowing the signs on the headset.
Signs of panic.
You hear it, you see it if they're physically on the sideline, you hear it if they're up in the booth.
Yeah.
And then because of your experience and your knowledge of that person that they're not seeing it right. And you've got to interject and redirect them.
It's an interesting conversation because you can ask whether or not Michigan will suffer a setback in his absence. Like, do you think – because people see that.
Yeah.
And they immediately think, oh, well, being without your head coach is a big deal. And all I'm saying is it's not.
No.
And it's especially not when you play East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers. So this will not matter at all. Him not being there really doesn't have as big of an impact on the game as one might think anyhow. And then when you're playing those opponents, it especially doesn't matter.
Correct. And one might say that maybe the NCAA looked at the situation and said, here is low-hanging fruit for us to make it look like we have enforcement power.
One might say that.
But if they were playing, as they are in 2024, they're playing Texas in week 2. You think that'd be a 4-game suspension if they were playing Texas in week 2? I do not. What did Urban Meyer get? He didn't get – did he get – I'll look it up, but I doubt it was 4 games.
Was it 2? I think it might have been 2. Well, if they, for good measure, if they had felt like it, they could have given them Nebraska off as well. They got Minnesota
3 games.
Yeah, 3 games.
3 games
for ignoring the spousal abuse.
Yeah.
No. He was indignant. East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana. Jesus, Michigan, this schedule's ass. I'm going to read through this schedule now that you got me curious. East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana. Okay, Michigan State. We'll see. Purdue. Good God. They sleepwalk through half the schedule. Then they're at Penn State in November, maybe their first difficult game of the year. At Maryland, and they close with Ohio State. They should accidentally go 10-2, worst case scenario.
Yes, they should be.
Worst case scenario.
They should be 9-0 as they travel to Happy Valley. And if they aren't, it's atrocious. And that's the same thing as last year. Remember their schedule last year? It was a cakewalk through the first 6 weeks. I remember in the previews, we were talking about it and looking at win totals, but then also just saying about perception. Everybody's going to believe Michigan is this juggernaut for the first month and a half. We'll see. They could be. They could very well end up being a juggernaut. But we're not going to know because they're not going to be tested until about Halloween.
Let me ask you. So you keep that schedule up. Let's go tit for tat here. Is Michigan's schedule easier than that of Louisville's schedule? All right, here we go. You ready? All Louisville right. Week 1, Georgia Tech.
East Carolina. I think Michigan's got the tougher game.
I don't. I think Tech's tougher.
Okay.
But it's close.
That's close.
It's very close.
ECU in September is a different animal.
It's very close. Murray State for Louisville the following weekend.
UNLV. No, Louisville's got it easier.
Yeah, okay.
Murray State.
Okay. Indiana week 3 for Louisville.
Bowling Green. So
Michigan. No, Indiana. Indiana should be better than Bowling Green.
Yes.
Okay. So Louisville.
You're keeping count here?
So Michigan's got the easier schedule so far.
2-1, I guess.
Yeah. So then it's Boston College for Louisville.
And Rutgers. Oh, isn't that perfect?
It's the same team.
They should be in their own conference.
It's the same team.
It's the same team conference. Rutgers and Boston College.
They absolutely should be. Same game. Same.
Throw Syracuse in there.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Then it's on. Okay, so here you go. Here's where we get to the point of delineation. Good, it's been a long day. Louisville, NC State on the road. That's not easy.
All right. Michigan at Nebraska with Matt Rule.
Year 1.
Too early.
Yeah, too early. Year 1.
So Michigan has it easier.
They do again.
Yep.
Then Louisville hosting Notre Dame.
Michigan at Minnesota. Michigan has it easier.
They do. Louisville at Pitt. Michigan at who?
Michigan hosting Indiana. Michigan has it easier. Yep.
Duke at Louisville.
Michigan at Michigan State.
That's tougher.
Yeah.
Probably tougher.
But still, Duke's not bad.
No. Virginia Tech at Louisville.
Purdue at Michigan. That's a wash. That's a wash.
Yeah, I never know. Virginia at Louisville. They were ass last year.
Michigan at Penn State. Louisville has it easier.
Yeah. Louisville at Miami.
Michigan at Maryland.
Michigan has it easier.
I don't know. It's about the same.
I think Michigan has it easier. Kentucky, Louisville hosting Kentucky.
Yeah, Michigan has it harder with Ohio State. So Michigan's toughest games are tougher than Louisville's, but week to week, early on, Michigan has it easier than Louisville.
I mean, we've made a lot of Louisville's schedule, and we've rolled our eyes at Louisville's schedule.
So what was Louisville's toughest game?
Probably Kentucky at
Notre
the end of the year. Notre Dame.
That doesn't count as a conference game.
No, but I'm just saying in general. Maybe the roadie against NC. Maybe the roadie against Pitt.
Roadie Pitt, roadie NC State. Is NC State on the road or?
Well, there's this stretch right here. Louisville plays NC State on the road. Notre Dame they host, and then on the road at Pitt. That's a stretch.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a stretch where they could struggle.
Okay.
Michigan, on the other hand, there's no stretch. There's not a stretch where you're like, ooh.
Minnesota could maybe if it's at night.
Row the boat?
Well, I mean, it's like Iowa. Iowa's never any good, but they host a game 8 p.m. on a Saturday night. It's going to be close.
Iowa sometimes is good, but
well, yeah, their defense could be elite, you know?
Yeah,
it's the race to 10.
But Iowa's got a quarterback this year, so all of a sudden it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Tough call. Guys, you decide. Seems to me that's a coin flip who has the easier schedule between Michigan and Louisville, and Michigan's in the Big Ten. And we were saying that Louisville had a joke of a schedule, and it's a close one. It's a close one.
Duke might rise up and beat Louisville. I'm calling it now.
That's at Louisville.
Could rise up. That's why they got to rise. Rise to the challenge.
Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant. TV. Right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. There's no doubt that buying a home can feel overwhelming, especially if it's your first home. You're worried about location, school zones, square footage, inspections, insurance, loan approvals, interest rates, and of course the price. Buying a home can be the most significant investment you've ever made. But there's good news. You have our friends at Legendary Home Loans, and they're on your side and in your corner. They're going to go to bat for you. Shannon Young from Legendary Home Loans can help first-time home buyers get up to $25,000 for your down payment. For first responders, veterans, teachers, military, and healthcare workers. And that's not all. Shannon is an expert navigator of the home loan terrain, and you can trust that he's going to get you the most competitive interest rates and guide you through the process every step of the way. Plus, Shannon will also get your closing costs reduced. It's the Hometown Heroes program at Legendary Home Loans. Give them a call today, 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN. Or go to FSUHomeLoans.com and ask for Shannon Young.
NMLS number 2270146.
Honey, I just got a text from Dave. He wants us to come over for a barbecue. What's our excuse for not going?
Oh, no need for an excuse anymore because Dave got a new grill from Hearth and Patio.
Oh, thank goodness. Dave, we will be happy to join y'all this weekend, and congrats on the new grill from Hearth and Patio. My wife said she would bring potato salad.
Hearth and Patio invites you to elevate your grilling game this year with one of their amazing grills from Fire Magic, Royal Master, or Blaze Grills. Call them today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, making barbecues great in the Sunshine State.
Honey, Dave said no raisins in the potato salad this time.
Call them today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young.
Wrapping it up on the Jeff Cameron Show. I need it to be Libations Friday soon. So Ira wrote a piece on warchant.com. Go check that out. Off-season weight gains and losses for players. And led by redshirt freshman offensive lineman Jalen Early, who has apparently made a dramatic body transformation. More than 40 Florida State football players have seen significant changes to their weights, according to the Seminoles' newly released 2023 media guide. So Early, by the way, has dropped 25 pounds, now listed at 299, 6'4". All right. Good job, Jim. So there's no other real extremes, and we can go through these. In fact, Ira does a good job of laying it out there for you. We can look at the changes of at least 10 pounds, for example. Mm-hmm. And Tom and I have decided to play a little game of yay or nay, good or bad.
Yep. All right.
Yes or no, that kind of thing here. Things are looking up, if you wanted to, when you could hit the soundbite back in the day, or we could go, no, that's not good. It's not what you do. Let's start with Biscuit. For whatever reason, Marquiston Douglas is up 11 pounds to 285 pounds.
Yep. I've got a theory on this.
Okay, so do I, but go ahead.
You don't like it, first of all, right? It's too much?
No, that's no. That's a no.
I agree. That's a no. So Robert Scott last year checked in at camp at some ridiculous weight, like 328, 338. It was something big.
Because they lose weight in camp.
And that was the design. That's what they told him to do. They told him to put on extra weight because as the season goes along and as it starts, they want him to be arriving at the right weight instead of, by the end of the year, being too light.
Right.
I'm going to guess that's what's going on here with Biscuit. It's got to be.
I mean, he was 275. Were they worried he was going to get to 268 or 260? I mean, that's a big tight end.
It is.
Either way, it's a big tight end.
Literally. Yes.
I have a different theory. I have a theory that his future may be as an NFL tackle. He's got really good feet. And if he is able to sustain 285, you're not far away from being 300 pounds. Who knows? It's a reach on my part.
That's a reach.
But it's not. I mean, why would they care about him getting listen.
Well, look, with Jaheim Bell now in the fold, you can specialize him as an end-of-the-line glorified sixth blocker. You could do that. Yeah. I don't know that he's that adept at it, but
yeah, maybe I'm probably really wrong on this. It's just interesting. Okay, Shaheem Brown, 6'2", 205. He was originally listed at 217. I like it. That's fine. 205 is good for a safety.
I guess.
He's speedier. That's fine.
All right.
Go make some plays on the ball. My guy, the guy who this guy predicted would be, in fact, a linebacker, Brian Courtney, checks in at 6'3", 238, gained 10 pounds, and that's what I'm talking about, Brian Courtney. Let's go in there and bust some heads at linebacker, baby.
Yeah, that's the proper weight. You don't want I think he's going to be more of a thumper than he is a sideline to sideline guy.
Correct.
So you want to match that. If you want a linebacker sideline to sideline, get me 225 or lighter. If you want somebody who can run up and stuff something, 235 plus is where you want to be.
Terrell Powers, the forgotten tight end on this roster, is down 11 pounds to 236. Agreed. Good move right there. He's got to get quicker.
He's got to get quicker. Still a project, and you've got a lot of talented players ahead of him. You better get it together this year, though, because Landon Thomas is on the way, man.
It's getting dark early, isn't it?
Yeah. It's getting late.
Getting late early, as they say. Keandre Jones is up 10 pounds to a whopping 332 pounds.
Why?
I don't know the answer to that. It's hard to envision a guy 6'3" needing to gain weight from 322 to 332.
This is a player that I really like, and I want
I
to
do
succeed.
too.
He's cerebral as hell. His mind matches Alex Atkins to a T. You can tell the way he thinks the game, but he's not athletic the way that Alex Atkins likes his linemen to be athletic.
Correct.
So what gives here? You would think if he was going to try to become more athletic to match Alex Atkins' scheme, he would be losing weight, not
Get down to 310 instead of
right. I mean, he's carried 318.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I don't know the reason for that either. Maybe he just killed it in the weight room. I mean,
could be.
He could have. He could just
and it could be a Robert Scott thing. Like, so he's building up the strength. They know the fat's going to burn off a little bit, and he'll play at that 315 to 325 range.
Yeah,
it could
possible.
be.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
DeMarco Ward is up 10 pounds, needed to be. He's playing linebacker, get him up to 227. I like that weight gain right there.
It's a potentially good player. He was the guy most often in spring where I said, that's a good play. Who is that again? And it's DeMarco Ward. He had a decent spring, I thought.
Rapid fire. We got a lot of guys here. Let's do this. I find this fascinating. Julian Armella is now down to 320 pounds, but he carries 320 as well as they get. I mean, he's lost 8 pounds. He was 328 prior. 6'6", 320. This guy should push for starting playing time this year. Not saying he'll get it.
Yeah.
He should.
Yeah, I guess that means that they profile him as more of a tackle because he could play either, man. He's so athletic.
He is.
That dude is – I mean, he carried that weight, and Byers was faster because Byers is a freak, but Julian could get out in space and run, man. So he's going to be even quicker.
Ashland Barker is up 6 pounds, 6'3", 206. Tight end Jaheim Bell is up 6 pounds. I like that. 6'3", 239.
239. Wow.
I like it. Hey, Ventrell Cypress added some weight. 6 foot, 187. He's to show up and play well. Preston Daniel is down 6 pounds, whatever. Defensive back.
He's still going to catch 4 or 5 touchdowns this year.
Akeem Dennis down 4 pounds to 191. I don't get that, but all right. Ja'Kai Douglas is down 4 pounds. Don't get that, but all right. Dimitri Emmanuel is up 9 pounds. Okay. He was already pretty boxy at 6'2", 309.
I haven't heard the term boxy in a while.
Pretty boxy.
That's fair. That's fair.
Braden Fisk is down 8 pounds. That's interesting.
Love it.
Carries it so well. He's 6'5", 297.
I love that because he is like Dennis Briggs.
Yeah, you move him in and out.
And they said that when he came in. He said it about his game. That's good. Keep him more agile.
Brock Glenn, quarterback, up 4 pounds. Good. 6'2", 213. It's got the figure, I think, to put on the weight. I'm fine with that. Conrad Hussey is up 5 pounds to 195 pounds. Defensive back, 6 foot.
That's getting from high school to college weight room, too.
Yep. Daryl Jackson, if he plays, let's cross our fingers, certainly that is the case. He's up 8 pounds.
Why?
I don't know why, but he carried the weight he had, which was 326 or whatever. He looked great in the spring. I think he'll still look good at 334. He's a Greek god. He just needs to be eligible. Cherian Jones is down 7 pounds to 6'1", 191. Don't know why, but all right. Maybe just speed.
Could be.
Quindarius Jones is down 9 pounds, went from 200 to 191.
That's fascinating. He looked lean to me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Kevin Knowles has gained weight, 5 pounds up, 5'11", 187.
That makes sense. He was hurt all last year, so I'm sure that affected the weight room.
Muscle, yeah. DJ Lundy is up 8 pounds, 6'1", 244. Is he just going to be a fullback, or what do we? This is interesting.
Goal line. Goal line linebacker. Both ways, goal line.
Offensive line, Daughtry Richardson up 6 pounds. He's 316 pounds, but he's 6'5". Carries it. Andre Otto up 6 pounds, 6'5", 326. Let's get down here some of the bigger names. Robert Scott is up 9 pounds, 6'5", 313. Fine with it.
That tells me that he's healthy enough to hit the weight room. That's still going to be light for him. I think that's a little too light for him. But if you're putting on weight, that means that your injury is in a place where you can go and put on some density again. Good for him.
I'm interested. Thomas Schrader down 7 pounds. I don't know how much Thomas Schrader's going to play.
He got
Kept
passed.
waiting on him. He did get passed, but he's in there working, man. Azariah Thomas is up 6 pounds, 6'2", 194.
Good.
Got the frame for it.
He needed it.
Byron Turner up pounds, too. That's good. He has the frame for it, 6'4", 244. Greedy Vance is down to 170. Size was never his game. He's quick and shifty at 5'11", 170. Jared Verse up 7 pounds, 6'4", 260. Looking like that.
260.
It's hard to believe.
I don't know.
I'm fine with it.
This is one of those
lightning
things.
Speed.
Okay, yeah, but this is one of those things. When he goes to the combine next year, what's he actually going to weigh?
238.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 238, 242. I agree.
Darius Washington is up 6 pounds, 6'4", 306. And then Hakeem Williams is down 7 pounds. Good.
He probably lost that in spring.
I think Hakeem's down 17 pounds, but all right. 6'2", 208. He came in here looking like a tight end.
It was not quite Kelvin Benjamin year one, where I'm like, oh my God, he's got a pot belly.
Yeah, we were blown away by that. Yeah. We're like, that guy's going to be starting as a tackle.
He could be the Buddha or Carmelo at Syracuse. You're just like, good Lord.
That was hilarious. Time for probables. Let's do this thing. Cue it up. Let's hear it. Rockies Nationals, Peter Lambert, Jake Irvin, Marlins, Rays, Sandy Alcantara.
Oh, wow.
Alcantara, man. Zach Eflin, who was feeling the other day against the Orioles. Royals, Guardians, Alec Marsh, TBD. Mariners, Twins. We got Bryce Miller, Joe Ryan. Reds, Brewers, Ben Lively, Freddie Peralta. Cardinals, D-backs, Jack Flaherty. Only Flaherty. TBD. Pirates, Padres. Pirates taking down the Padres last night while I was sleeping. Johan Avedo goes for the Buccos. He's been bad. Seth Lugo goes for the Padres. Be a Pirates loss, folks. Blue Jays, Dodgers. Tony Gonsolin goes for the Dodgers.
Jeff Brom's doing an interview next to us with 1010XL. I hope he heard that. I'm sure he did, in fact.
Orioles, Phillies, Kyle Bradish, Rangers, Suarez, Angels, Tigers, Patrick Sandoval, Michael Lorenzen, Mets, Yankees, Jose Quintana, Carlos Rodon, Braves, Red Sox, Spencer Strider. Feels like you should say traffic keeper. Brian Bello.
Two tight pants family there for Spencer Strider, man. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. He's got some Robbie Ray syndrome to him right there. Rangers, Astros, Andrew Haney, Framber Valdez. Cubs, White Sox, Marcus Stroman, Lance Lynn.
And Robbie Scott.
Oh, Robbie Scott here was insane. That was criminal. Criminal Robbie Scott. Picking us all to porn every time he took the hill. It was terrible. A's, Giants, Hogan Harris. Great name.
Hogan Harris.
He should be in a sitcom.
That's the new one.
Giants TBD. That is the new one. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. And I got to say, take it over there to Power Mill, kids. Get in those camps. Learn how to swing. Pick up the baseball. It's going to be it. We're back from Charlotte. And I'm going to sleep of the dead. And I'll be all right. We'll be good to go. Our thanks to Matthew. Our thanks to Ben. Our thanks to 93.3. Our thanks to you. Our thanks to Tom and everybody here in Charlotte. Peace.